What's up, guys? Stas here. So NIO just reported earnings yesterday, and the stock was trading right around $16 per share pre-market yesterday, and since then, it's fallen almost 20% to where it is right now, trading just under $13 per share. And in this video, we're going to be talking more about NIO stock, going over their most recent earnings report, the second quarter of 2020. We're going to go over a lot of financial metrics in this video, breaking down growth year over year, quarter over quarter. I want to go deeper into this company, and I want to go over more in depth whether or not I think NIO is a good buy here, whether it's overvalued, undervalued, decently priced, or a better word to say is, fairly priced. And I just want to go deeper into the company in general. So if you guys find value, as always, in this video, and if you guys enjoy these types of videos, hit that like button for me, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts, and join our free Discord chat and Facebook group. If you're an investor, a trader, that is a great place to be. And if you guys want 2 free stocks from Webull, you can also get those linked down below in the description box. Those are valued up to $1,400. All you have to do is deposit $100, and you and I get 2 free stocks. So NIO, again, fell about almost $3 per share. Yesterday, it was down about 10-15% despite having a pretty solid earnings report. And today, guys, it's falling even further, hitting about $12.67 earlier in the session today, the day that I'm filming this video. So let's go deeper into NIO, talk about exactly what they reported yesterday, some financial highlights, and some growth here year over year that I think is pretty impressive. So NIO overall, for those of you guys that don't know, I'm sure all of you know at this point since you clicked onto this video, they're an electric vehicle company, right? This EC6, this is coming out in September. This is going to start ramping up in September. They're going to start doing deliveries, so that is very exciting. And the ES8 and the ES6 are 2 of the products right now, right? These are 2 vehicles right now that they have. So go take a look at NIO.com. Look deeper into the vehicles yourself if you want to look deeper into that aspect of the company. But in this video, again, we're talking more about the stock, the financials, what they did in quarter 2. So let's get deeper into that right now. And we can do that by simply taking a look at NIO Investor Relations. And if you guys want to get into this, just simply go to Google or whatever search engine you use, type in NIO Investor Relations, right? And we can see here, second quarter financial results. Their quarterly total revenues reached RMB, that's the currency, RMB 3,718.9 million RMB, which equates over to $526 million in revenue. And mind you guys, NIO just IPO'd, well, not just IPO'd, it IPO'd about 2 years ago. So this company went from IPOing, losing a lot of money when it IPO'd, and don't get me wrong, it still loses a lot of money now, but it went from kind of a pipe dream back then when it IPO'd. It was way more speculative, but these recent quarters, we've really seen some good growth, some good numbers, and we can notice that the stock's price, the funny thing is, if we go back to ThinkOrSwim here and go to the 3-year chart, you guys can see the stock's price is right around, it's close to where it was when it IPO'd. I mean, you guys remember it IPO'd, I forget exactly where, but the stock got up to about almost $14, and then it fell all the way down to $1. Again, it was a lot of there was a lot more speculation back then because of the numbers not being as good as they are now, right? And again, the stock went from $14 down to $1. Now it's coming back up, and you have to ask yourself, is the company more valuable now at $12 than it was 2 years ago at $12? Is the value more now than it was 2 years ago? Of course it is. They're delivering more vehicles. They're making more vehicles. They're making more money. They're losing less money now. So you have to ask yourself, is it reasonable at $12, $13? We'll get into that here in a little bit. So going back over to Google Chrome, again, total revenues around $500 million. That's a pretty good amount there. quarterly deliveries of the ES8 and the ES6, the two main vehicles, were 10,331. Quarterly vehicle margin reached 9.7%. Quarterly gross margin reached about 8.5%. And here you can see some growth numbers, guys. Here you can see some operating results from the past couple of quarters, stemming back from quarter 3 of 2018. Back in 2018, quarter 3, NIO delivered about 3,200 vehicles. The following quarter in 2018, about 8,000 vehicles. The quarter after that, about 4,000 vehicles. So it was a bit rocky, right? This is why that stock price was seeing a lot of volatility. It was dropping because they were pretty inconsistent, up and down, quarter over quarter, right? Back in 2018, and then in quarter 2 of 2019, we got about 3,500 vehicles, and then as 2019 was coming to an end, the latter half of 2019, that is when NIO started to accelerate from 4,800 vehicles delivered to 8,200. That was a record, right? And then in 2020 quarter 1, we saw about 3,800 vehicles delivered, so we saw a hit there, which makes sense because that's when the crisis started to kick off, right? But what we see here, which is very impressive, quarter 2 numbers, 10,331 vehicles delivered in the second quarter of this year. So when we're looking at year over year, 2019 quarter 2, we went from 3,500 in 2019 to about 10,300. So that is a very nice increase there when it comes down to vehicles delivered. And these actually, out of the 10,300, 8,000 of them were the ES6. So going back to the website, the ES6 is this vehicle right here. So 8,000 of these, or of the deliveries, were of the ES6, and the other roughly 2,000 were the ES8, right? So those are some pretty solid results when it comes down to just revenue, and we'll get to the revenue growth here in a minute, but just deliveries off the bat. And here you guys can see the percentage increase, exactly the percentage increase. It was around a 146.5% increase from the second quarter last year, so that's year-over-year growth of 146.5%. and around a 177.6% growth from the first quarter of 2020. So just quarter over quarter, guys, they saw almost a 200% growth there in their vehicle sales, which is unbelievable. You guys can see here gross profit was actually a loss of $44.3 million, and that actually represents an increase from the gross loss in the second quarter of last year. Actually, last year they lost about 480.6 million RMB. That's what they lost last year, and this year that equates to about 313 million RMB. So we're seeing the losses, tighten there. We're seeing, the gross profit starting to tighten up there, which is solid, and we can see the official loss from operations was around 1,160 million RMB, which equates to around $164.2 million of a loss in the second quarter. And like I always say about mega growth companies, guys, I'd consider this a very small company that's seeing mega growth at this point and has a lot of potential for mega growth moving forward. You notice they lose a lot of money every quarter. That's not something that is unusual. It makes sense because they're investing in the company. They're doing a lot of investing, and they're not really looking to make a profit. So that's why we're seeing a massive loss there. And that loss, believe it or not, guys, is a decrease of 64% from the second quarter of 2019. Again, going back to their losses tightening. They're losing less money. That's a very good sign there. And it's a decrease of 26.1% from the first quarter of 2020. Actually, no, that was the loss from operations, was around 164.2 million. So the official number the 100% official net loss number is a little bit above 164.2 million. It's not too much, of a difference. It's 166.5 million, which is what you guys see right here. And if you guys are more number focused, you can take a look here at the key financial results broken down in kind of a spreadsheet fashion. And you guys can see again 177.6% growth quarter over quarter, 146.5% growth year over year when it comes down to sales. The margin, the vehicle margin is increasing, like we said, and the losses from operations and the net loss in general is decreasing rather year over year, which is a very good sign. So one thing that I'm very excited about when it comes to NIO moving forward here and the upcoming quarters is the launch of the E6 or the EC6, right? That's the other vehicle that we saw before on the website. This one right here. This one is set to start delivering, I believe, in September. Let me double check that. Yup, you guys can see it here. EC6. NIO launched this on July 24th, 2020 at the Chengdu Motor Show. The 5-seater premium smart electric coupe SUV starts at a pre-subsidy price of RMB 368,000, and I'm not sure exactly what the conversion is on that when it comes to RMB to US dollars, and it is now available to pre-order, or actually to order via the NIO app with delivery, again, like I said, starting in September of 2020. So this is bringing another vehicle into their arsenal, and it's going to bring more sales to the company at the end of the day. And we saw actually another big metric that we saw when it comes to guidance is they are looking to deliver around 11,000 to about 15,000 vehicles in this upcoming quarter. And that's a very big, growth metric again, because we saw quarter two around 10,200 vehicles were delivered. So if they deliver 11 to 15 in the upcoming quarter, that is very, very strong growth. That should be a record high for the company, right? So we looked at revenue growth. We saw how they're doing with delivery growth as well, looking pretty solid on that aspect. But another main thing that you guys must look at when you're looking at investing in a company is the balance sheet, right? This is very important, especially with a company that's burning a lot of cash, right? They're burning what? $164 million in one quarter. I mean, it's the cash burn is slowing, right? But it's still a lot of cash. So one thing we look at here is the balance sheet, because this shows us assets versus liabilities. And you guys can see right now their total assets, current assets as of June 30th, 2020, 10.5 billion RMB. And you guys can see that here, 10.5 billion RMB. And all of these numbers listed on my screen right now, they're in thousands, right? So you simply add 3 zeros onto the end of the number. So that actually equates over to about 1.5 billion in current assets. So that means that's pretty solid, 1.5 billion. So how does that end up breaking down? We have cash and cash equivalents of about $62 million. We have So I'm actually editing the video right now, guys, and realized I misread this line. It's 10.5 billion RMB for cash and cash equivalents, not current assets, for cash and cash equivalents only. And that actually equates over to 1.4 billion in cash in US dollars, not 62 million. 1.4 billion cash, not 62 million US dollars. So let's continue. Restricted cash of around $30 million. We have short investments of around $195 million. $7 million are in trade receivables, it seems like. Amounts due from related parties around $144 million. That's a big chunk there. Prepayments and other current assets around $207 million. So all in all, they have about $2.1 billion in current assets, and total assets, including non-current assets, are about $3.2 billion. $3.2 billion. And current liabilities, total liabilities, are around $3.2 billion as well. So that's really not bad at all. I mean, the total assets compared to the total liabilities, they pretty much line up. $3 billion in total assets, $3 billion in total liabilities. But one thing that I'd like to see more of, quite honestly, is cash. They have about $62 million in straight up cash. Let me double check. Yeah, I'm just seeing because these lines don't align, guys, if you guys know what I mean. If I highlight it there, you guys can see it. But cash and cash equivalents, actually, no, I'm wrong. Restricted cash. Oh my goodness. I was thinking to myself this whole time. Restricted cash, $62 million. That's not a lot of cash, I'm thinking to myself. But now, since I'm double checking, they have $1.5 billion in cash and cash equivalents. So that's perfect. That is a nice amount of cash to have, because that's going to hold them over again, because they're losing a lot of money every single quarter. I got scared there for a second thinking they only had $62 million, but that is why, ladies and gentlemen, you always go back and double check the financials. And having $1.5 billion in cash and cash equivalents, that is very solid for a company here like NIO. So overall, guys, there's a lot of more we can jump into, but those are the main metrics from this quarter, and just in general, how the company's been doing, how much cash they have on hand, their assets, their liabilities, balance sheets. And I'll link this down below in the description box if you guys want to jump deeper into this and look more into it for yourselves, if you're interested in investing in NIO. And as for me, guys, I've actually been in this stock, and I've been on the channel for over a year talking about this stock. I've been in NIO ever since the $3 level. I've actually bought shares in the 3s, in the 2s when it got down to about $1. I didn't buy at $1, but as it was ramping out of that, I was buying on the upside, on the upswing rather, in the $2. But truthfully, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I was buying in the $6 level. I was buying in the $6 level about a year and a half ago at around $6. People were calling me crazy. It dropped down. I held through a lot of pain, guys. I was down 50% of my position. Started buying more at around $3. Again, like I said, I bought even more, at $2. So at this point, I'm in around $3, $3.50. And quite honestly, looking at those metrics and, looking at the growth ahead of the stock or the company, right? I think that these prices we're at right now, they're pretty fair value. Quite honestly, they could be a tad undervalued. The market could still be overlooking the stock a little bit, despite the correction from almost $17 per share that we recently saw, all the way down to where it is now at $13. And for me, being in a unique position, owning shares at $3 to $4 range, I'm not looking to buy at this point. But let me tell you guys, let me be quite honest. If this stock gets under $10, right? Again, here at 13, I think it's decently valued, fair valued, if not a little undervalued. But if we get to $10 and under, that is where I think we're going to get to a bargain value, to where me at $3 to $4, hey, I might even add more under $10, whether it's $8, $9. And at this point, nobody can really comprehend why the stock's falling after hours. It could really just be an overreaction, or actually not after hours, from yesterday in general after earnings. It could really just be an overreaction at this point, and we'll have to see. On a technical basis, 1350 is a big spot here on NIO. If we hold, we could end up rallying back up to 1415, but if we fail at 1350, breaking out of it, and we start going lower, we could see a $12 price on NIO, and if that breaks the big support at 12, we could be getting down to $11-10. So we'll see, guys. Me personally, again, I think anything under 10 is a very good price for NIO. And another thing worth noting, if anything happens to NIO, they run out of cash, which, again, $1.5 billion in cash right now. I don't think they'll run out of cash. You guys have to understand, they have the Chinese company backing them. They have big investments from, I believe, Tencent has a big investment here in NIO. So they have a lot of backing. The company, in my opinion, is not going anywhere. And not to mention, there's also a lot of competition. That's something worth looking at. Obviously Tesla is in China. There's a lot of other companies now coming up with their own electric vehicles. So many. But I believe everybody has a piece of the pie. There's not going to be a monopoly on electric vehicles. I think there's going to be a lot of potential. There's a huge total addressable market here with electric vehicles, and I think a lot of but a lot of companies are going to get their fair share, and I think NIO is going to get a nice chunk of that pie. So let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts on NIO, the breakdown here, earnings in the second quarter? I would love to know. And don't forget to claim your 2 free stocks from Webull, valued up to $1,400. Also linked down below, deposit $100. That's how you get the stocks. And don't forget to join our Discord chat and Facebook group. Those are free. I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, peace out.